So, hello and welcome to Woman at the Wheel. I'm Sue. Boy, I've had a day. It's 4:52 Central Time, May 13th, Friday, May 13th, 2022. And I'm somewhere near Akron, Pennsylvania. I just picked up a 3-stack of trailers in Ephrata, I guess that's how you say it, Pennsylvania. And it took me a hell of a long time to get them all tied together and ready to go. But I finally got them. But at least I got the trailers and I'm on my way, working my way west. I decided instead of going clear back the way I came, down through the Shenandoah Valley and into Tennessee, which is one way I could go, I'm going to instead go straight west over to I-70 through Pittsburgh and Cincinnati and Indianapolis, or at least through Cincinnati, and then I'll reassess from there where to turn south. I will turn south at some point over in there. I may do it at Cincinnati and cut down through Kentucky, but because I'm going to Seguin, Texas with this load. But for now, I'm just happy to have them on. Everything's hooked up the way it's supposed to be, checked and double checked. So I'm quite pleased to have that over with. And I'm just trying to get the hell out of here. This is actually beautiful country. It's a weird mixture of very rural with kind of very cityfied. It's a combination. It's very odd. We don't have anything like this where I'm from. So I'm going to be taking a left turn. To South 222. I want the one to South 222, so I keep going a ways, 4/10 of a mile more. I missed my original turn on to 222 back where it was more city. There was a lot of city traffic, and I wasn't sharp enough to catch it. But this is where I'm going to make my turn. Okay, I'm watching my straps. I'm looking behind me, watching my load. Everything looks like it's staying good and tight. It should, because I've finally learned how to make these straps that I use. I finally learned how to make them stay the way I want them to stay instead of loosening up on me. I was thinking maybe it was the straps, but it wasn't. It was my technique of applying the tension on the straps that was giving me trouble. So hopefully I won't have very many strap issues on this trip. It'll be nice. I'll stop up here in a ways and just walk around and check them all. Sometimes after you drive a little bit, it loosens up a little bit, or the load settles and you kind of have to tighten things up. And I'll do that up here. Once I get where I've got a safe place I can pull over in I'll let it ride for about 50 miles. Unless I see something that needs attention, then I'll stop wherever I have to. Okay, now I'm back up here and all of a sudden I'm in a traffic jam. Oh, lovely. This is why I don't live in the East. I can tell you right now, because I would go crazy if I had to deal with this kind of stuff every day of my life, driving to and from work. I would not tolerate it. It's not my cup of tea. And there's not really anything I can think of that would make this appealing to me in any way. No kind of money or anything that would make me want to live in a place like this, where this is what you deal with on a daily basis. I know some people are willing to put up with it because there's something important enough there for them, but not for me. Now, I have no idea how long this is going to be backed up, but I suspect it's quite a ways, probably down to Highway 30. If what I saw coming in was any indication, that was backing up there when I got off at 30 and got onto 222. So I can only guess that might be what it is. Alright, it looks like this is moving a little better here, so I'm glad to see it. Now I'm going to let it route me on all the interstates it wants to, because I just want to get back to I-70. Basically, that's my objective tonight. Either get somewhere on I-76 or I-70, one of the two. I'd like to get onto I-70. Not sure where that connects back in here. I-70 is south of me, I-76 is north of me, and I-76 I think is a turnpike up north of me. So I'm not sure exactly how this is gonna go. West 283. I think that's where I'm supposed to be going. So I'll stay in this lane, behave myself. Got some kind of weird little bug in here crawling around on the windshield. He was trying to fly around a minute ago. It's not doing a very good job either. Just fell off the windshield. Okay, I'm looking. My straps look good. Everything looks tight. Nothing's doing any weird vibrating or flopping around. That's always good. The last thing you want to see when you've got something strapped is for your strap handles to be flopping around, because that means something's not tight or something's busted. Now the way I've got these strapped, nothing should bust. I shouldn't break any straps, because the straps are I've got them arranged from, they're not going over the load, rubbing on the load. It's the hook part of the strap is hooked over the stake pocket, and the bottom strap is hooked over the bottom stake pocket, and then I've got them tensioned up in the middle. So the odds of breaking a strap using them in this way is pretty low. It could happen. I mean, they could just get worn and old and snap, but not very likely. So everything's looking good. That makes me happy. I'll still stop in about 50 miles and double check everything. And then periodically, like every 3 hours, all the way back to Texas, I'll stop and walk around and check them, just to make sure they're holding, staying tight. Okay, whew, what a relief. Everything's looking okay. And I'm on a road that's not a city street. That's good. I've got 2 hours and 22 minutes of drive time left. So we'll see how far I can get towards Pittsburgh in 2 hours from this end of the state. Probably not real far is going to be my guess. So when I get to where I've got an hour or so left, I'll start looking for a motel. So I'm not as worried about the configuration of the motel parking lot with this load as I was with the tie-togethers, because I can back this up and move it around the way I need to. I can basically get this into a relatively small space and maneuver it around without too much trouble. It's not as long as I thought it was going to be. They said it was going to be a 35-foot with two 24-footers on it. What it is, I think, is a 30-foot with a 5-foot dovetail that's folded up, so it's not that long. It's probably closer to 30 or 31 feet. That makes it even easier to haul. So this is a nice, easy haul so far. I better knock on wood. I don't want to jinx it. I have to get used to how the load looks in the mirror, because these trailers are snug together. I got them tight, so they're moving as one unit, but they are bouncing up and down a little bit, but it's not one trailer bouncing on top of the other one. It's the whole stack moving up and down. But it takes a while for my eye to get used to seeing that motion, because with every load it's a little different. And there are mud flaps on those trailers, so those mud flaps are blowing around back there. It makes it look like the trailers are moving when they're not. So it just takes me a while to kind of get comfortable with it and to get used to it. But I don't have any problem driving the speed limit with it. This isn't like the doubles where it's squirreling around or anything. It's a gooseneck trailer, and it's nice and stable. It feels like it looks like it's kind of tall and top heavy, but it's a lot more stable than it looks because it's so tied together. Now, I wouldn't take corners really fast hauling like this, but for the most part, it's not a hard thing to pull. I don't have to get too worried about it. I just have to watch my straps. That's the big thing with a load like this. You got to keep an eye on the straps. If a strap loosens up, that's not such a huge deal. I'll stop and tighten it up and go on. Or if one breaks, I'll stop and replace it and then go on. So I have extras. Okay, good. So we're doing all right now. So this is like Pennsylvania farm country out in here, and where I was just at was very urban. I mean, with mass transit and lots of stores, and so it's an interesting mix. But I do need to make a note to myself to get another jug of Rain-X the next time I stop and get fuel. And I'm hoping to get out of Pennsylvania before I have to buy any more fuel, because it's outrageously expensive here. It's 75 cents more here than it was in Virginia, and it was high in Virginia. I paid $5.52 this morning at $6 and a quarter to $6.29 here. So I'm hoping to just get the hell out of Pennsylvania before I ever need to buy any more, and not have to pay their extra premium, whatever it is. Probably their taxes makes it higher. I'll be very glad to get to the west end of this low pressure front that's in here. It was dogging me all day yesterday, and I was okay this morning, and then I got up into the main part of it, and then I got a really pretty good headache going from it. I had a low grade headache all day yesterday. Today it's been worse, which made me cranky. It tends to do that. When I've got to drive with a headache, I get cranky for some odd reason. Go figure. So I will be glad to see the backside of this storm. This little front, anyway. I don't know that it's a storm. It's a lot of little rainstorms. Doesn't seem to be anything real severe or anything yet. It's cool enough today that maybe it won't turn into anything much. And it's getting late enough in the day. If it was gonna spin up and be something like we have in Oklahoma with, the hail and the lightning, I think it would have required a little more heat to get that going. So now, I didn't get out and video this load I was just too busy working, getting it done, getting it tied down and all that. So when I stop tonight, I'll probably shoot it, or I'll do it in the morning. I'll video it in the morning and show you what I'm actually hauling. So it's kind of intimidating looking. It's not so bad, really. It's a very lightweight load, which is pleasing to me. I'm going to reset my mileage meter right now and see if it'll tell me what I'm doing. I'm going to guess I'm getting probably 11 or 12 miles to the gallon, maybe. Maybe not. 9.2 and climbing. It'll take it a while to settle out. It doesn't feel heavy enough to be lower than 10 for sure. Depends on how much drag the goosenecks are creating. And a lot of it depends on the wind too. I mean, wind will affect your mileage more than just about anything else. Adversely. Anyway. Okay, so right now I'm getting 9.5, and that's going up. So I'm actually getting better fuel mileage dragging this stack of trailers than I got dragging a pull behind bumper pull horse trailer that I brought back from Baltimore about a month ago. And the reason is the drag on the front of the horse trailer was greater because it sat back from the bed of my truck, from the cab of my truck. I've got a 9-foot bed on this truck. So the distance between the cab of my truck and the front of that little horse trailer, even though it was a light little horse trailer, was probably 12 feet, maybe 13, because you had my 9-foot bed plus the hitch and the tongue on the trailer before you hit that actual front of the horse trailer. So because it was so far away, all that wind going over the top and around the sides of my cab was not flowing over that little horse trailer because it was too far back. It was hitting the front of it and creating a whole lot of drag. So I actually got a lot less good fuel mileage with that than I'm going to get with this load. So I'm really happy about that. It's still coming up. It's at 10.6 and still coming up. So I think this is going to be in the range, in the 11 to 12 miles a gallon range, like I had hoped it would be. It's just not a very heavy load, and there's very little drag. I've got basically 3 gooseneck noses into the wind, and they're V-shaped, so they're kind of cutting through the air instead of being like a wall that the air's hitting. So I think this is going to be really good. Pretty happy with it so far. And my truck's not having to work very hard to pull them because they're light. This is all good stuff. Now I'm not driving super fast right now. I'm driving just a little over 60. The speed limit here is 65. I usually take it easy with any load for the first 10 or 20 miles just to see how it feels. See if I need to make any accommodations for it, how it's going to pull. I'm not having any issues with this whatsoever yet. So here in a while I'll probably inch it on up and drive the 65. But I do like to kind of start out erring on the side of caution just in case. Sometimes I'll notice something about the load I don't like, and then I can stop and correct it. You know, like I might have a strap getting a little loose or something just looking funky. So I'll make all my corrections in the first 10 or 20 miles that I need to make as I see them. And then after that, it usually settles down pretty good unless the strap just breaks or just works its way loose over time. And that can happen. It's not that big of a deal. Just when it happens, that's why I'm always looking back at the load. I'm always looking for stuff like that I need to stop and fix. And to see, what the trailer's doing back there. This is what they taught me in truck driving school. So always keep an eye on your load. And in truck driving, unless you're driving a flatbed and you have stuff strapped down, you pretty much don't have a whole lot to look at. It's just going to be the flat sides of your trailer, like I don't know if you've got just a boxy trailer or if you've got a reefer or whatever. So unless you've got an actual flatbed, you're not really going to be worried about straps and stuff as far as what you can see. Now they may have some sort of strapping and stuff going on inside of an enclosed trailer, but you can't see that obviously until you stop and open the trailer and look. That's a dairy, actually. Those are dairy cattle out there. It's the first dairy I've seen on this whole trip. It used to be they were everywhere. In fact, we had dairies right down the road from us. I haven't seen a dairy in a long time. I think all the little ones have been priced out of business long ago. And they're all traded off for the big corporate ones. I think there's some things we're doing better these days, but I don't think everything's better. I think a lot of things are worse. If I ruled the world, some things would be different, damn it. Very different. Oh, if I ruled the world. I'm actually making a joke because the last thing I would want to do is rule anything but me. I don't even want to rule me half the time. Okay, I think we're as good as we can be for the moment. I'm just going to take it easy and see how far I can get in the next 2 hours. That's what I've got left on the day. And I can get on the other side of Harrisburg and find some place out there that's halfway decent to stay for the night, which would be nice. I'm not so worried about getting cheap motels this time because this load's paying enough. I don't have to be as picky about price, which is a real nice luxury. So I can kind of go for the name brands and maybe not have to worry about things being cruddy. So I hope anyway. All these farms around here are so nice looking. Old farmhouses, old barns. You'd never know as a country girl, would you? I see the cities, I'm like, yeah, it's a city. But I see a nice old barn, I'm like, oh, look at the old barn. I guess it's whatever you're used to. What's your cup of tea, Okay, I think I'm going to call this good, and I'll probably just lay off it until tomorrow. I'll see if I can get something uploaded tonight once I stop. I don't know. Just have to play it by ear, but I'll try and get some more stuff uploaded and get my storage cleared out so I can film more tomorrow and the next day. So anyway, thanks for riding along. I guess I'll see you next time. Good night.